Palau's president says China is weaponizing tourism in a bid to get the nation to sever bilateral ties with Taiwan. In one instance, Cyril Whips Jr. says Palau was excluded from a global tourism summit, and he says his country has been described as dangerous by Chinese media. Caleb Fotheringham has more.
Palau's president, Cyril Whips Jr. says he's been told by China if they ditch their ties with Taiwan, the sky is the limit.
I think at the end of the day, we have a relationship with Taiwan. And of course, that relationship is something that China has openly told us that is illegal and we should not recognize Taiwan.
The number of nations recognizing Taiwan over China is a depleting list, with Nauru being the latest country to switch alliance in January of this year. Mr. Whip says China is putting pressure on Palau to do the same by weaponizing tourism. More than half of Palau's GDP comes from tourism, and Mr. Whip says China has been reducing the number of its visitors.
I think most recently in Chinese news that Palau is an unsafe place and that you shouldn't go visit. That was early on this summer.
Palau was also unable to attend the Pacific Asia Travel Association's annual summit hosted in Macau earlier this year because it doesn't have diplomatic relations with China. Mr. Whip says Taiwan has since increased the number of flights to support Palau's tourism industry.
We need economic development, but at the same time we have values and we have partnerships. And the relationship that we have with Taiwan we treasure, and it's something that we have said very clearly that we are their friend, and nobody else should say that we can't be their friend.
New Zealand's Foreign Minister Winston Peters, who was next to Mr. Whips when he made the comments about China, says it wasn't the first time he's heard about the increasing pressure from the superpower, but he refrained from saying if he was concerned about the situation when asked.
Well, I think he gave you an explanation of why he said it, and I can't add to that.
Palau, alongside the Federated States of Micronesia and the Marshall Islands, have what's called Compact of Free Association agreements with the United States. Financial support is given to the three nations, and in return the US is given military access and control. The latest tranche was held up being passed, but were eventually signed into law by US President Joe Biden in March. Prior to it passing, the three compact nations, in a letter penned to the United States Senate, said the delay resulted in undesirable opportunities for economic exploitation by competitive political actors active in the Pacific. Marshall Islands President Hilda Heine says she was a little nervous for a period, but so far it has worked out.
Funding has been flowing under the compact. We still have a number of issues that we're trying to work out that has to do with our federal program and services. So this is one agreement that outstanding agreement that we're still trying to work out. But for the most part, the agreement is being fully implemented.
Palau was Winston Peters' last stop on the North Pacific tour and country number 14 of Pacific Islands Forum nations. He's trying to visit all 17 of the Forum countries, with Kiribati, New Caledonia and French Polynesia still to go. Winston Peters says he should visit them all by mid-October.